Good night, friends and family. Welcome to a special early edition of Just Reason this week. As you know, for the past 18 weeks straight, we've been coming to you on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Central. Tonight we're doing it on a Tuesday night this week because tomorrow night there's a big debate, the vice presidential debate between Kamala Harris and Mike Pence. So, I know a lot of
and we don't want to take away from the viewership.
Exactly. We don't want Biden running us down. So, we didn't. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, we didn't want to affect their viewership. So, we decided to move to Tuesday. So, we have some of our regulars, and we have a special guest all the way from Japan tonight. We have Tex, big up yourself with the Vote t-shirt as a big reminder. The Vote Rebel Collection shirt. I forgot to wear mine. But, you know, especially all the way from Dubai as usual. Jojo the Queen. What's up, Jojo Dancer? Formerly Dancer. And Mika. Mika, how you doing?
Hi, I'm doing well. Thank you.
What's the weather like in Japan right now?
Actually, that's a very interesting question.
It's an inside joke, people. Sorry.
You better tell them. You better
inside
Google
joke.
it.
Yeah, it's an inside joke. Anyway,
is it Delta in Japan now? I know Delta.
No.
Don't tell me.
No.
Arizona.
Yeah,
It's not
cheers.
raining. It's very warm and not rainy.
Yes, full Jamaican crew tonight, so you know we have to talk to things. Anyway, so we have a list of topics all across the board, as we do. News, politics, sports, entertainment. We're just reasoning. Grab a drink and just talk and reason about real issues, real things, real talk. That's what we do here. So, as I said at the beginning, why we're doing the Tuesday night edition is we have the big vice presidential debate tomorrow between Kamala Harris, whose father, as many of you know, is Jamaican. And as I've said before, not just Jamaican, but from my special part of Jamaica, right near the St. Ann Bush, same way, same area. So that's tomorrow. Kamala Harris has many years as a prosecutor. So what that implies, she knows how to slice up and dice up an argument. Versus Mike Pence. You know, I've listened to Pence a little bit, and he's I'd say he's a relaxed, calm, cool, and collected liar. Right? So
Wow.
you know,
Okay.
we are for any of us who have ever had experiences arguing with a black woman, and your facts aren't on your side, it's going to be a long night for you. So that's what I think is going to happen. So what do you say, ladies, as the resident black women on here? Does Mike Pence stand a chance of stepping in the arena with a black woman? Or however you want to answer the question.
Well, as you know, as a former non-voter, I'm not up on him, but based on what you just said, I feel like he might be able to hold his own, but I've actually been following her, and she gets it. She knows that she is fighting against the fact that she's a black woman, she's black and she's a woman. So she's gonna come with it. And I can already tell she has a no-nonsense attitude.
Mm-hmm.
And I respect that about her. And if I'm not mistaken, she's an AKA as well.
Yes.
Yes.
Sure is.
So, I mean, I'm actually excited to see tomorrow and to actually see a decent debate.
I hope it's not a shit show.
No, I don't think it will be.
We already did that. We already did the shit show. So, it won't be that. I mean, because Trump isn't on that stage.
earlier this evening, I was looking at CNN, and I'm trying to remember which show it was that I was watching. But basically, they were saying that it should be an interesting debate because Kamala Harris is actually somebody who, like we've said before, she knows about, the politics and, prosecution and all of those things. And Mike Pence usually is a yes person to the president. I mean, it perhaps sounds a little bit odd because he's been in politics too for such a long time. But it's going to be an interesting debate. I know that she's going to bring it because, the people want to see change. Well, most of the people want to see change. A majority of the Black people are rooting for her. So hopefully she comes with some good, solid arguments and, some perspectives on how we can better the country. And, we need some positive input now because at this point it is so divided and it is so disheveled that it's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, that's I would say most people feel like that, right? It's exhausting just living here. It's just on a day by day basis. I heard somebody say on the news, some analyst on TV saying the mark of a good government is when you don't really have to think about this. I mean, you get up and things just work. Things just go on as they're supposed to. But every day is just drama. So Tex, what you say?
It should be very interesting, but if you really think about it, Pence isn't in Kamala's league as far as articulation, debating, and it's just going to be basically he's going to get demolished. And one thing I think about is he's the head of the coronavirus task force. I hope she has some hard-nosed questions about that. Okay, so we know she's not going to skip over anything. We know she's going to bring it to him. The other thing is, on Kamala's behalf, with this shit show that is going on in the White House right now, I hope that she's prepared, and I hope they have a glass barrier or whatever they need to do or have to have to make sure she doesn't catch this virus or anything like that. So I hope her side has some a plan in place to keep her away from him and whoever is preparing for him. Is my main thing. But I mean, it's definitely going to be better than what we saw, a couple of weeks ago. I mean, that was just an embarrassment. I think this will be a lot more, I'd say more class. But as far as one-on-one debate, I'm sorry for him. I feel bad for him.
Like where Kamala, she's been a senator now, I think 4 years. And so where you've seen her like excel is in those hearings, right? When they have, like a new Supreme Court justice or whoever, where they question them. And then you can just, for the way she goes through her arguments, and, and you can tell when she knows somebody's BSing and she just has that Black woman look like, like all of that. So she's excellent in that, open and hyping her up too much. But, again, this is somebody who, if you've spent your life as a prosecutor, you're used to that setting of your argument against somebody's argument. And for somebody like Pence, when the facts aren't on your side, right? So like with Trump's, the way he approached it, because the facts weren't on his side, was just to be an asshole and just yell and scream and interrupt. Mike Pence isn't going to do that. And when the facts aren't on your side, as Dwayne rightly pointed out, as the head of the coronavirus task force, 210,000 people dead, 7 million cases. You don't want to have that conversation with somebody who knows what they're talking about. So it's going to be sticky. Right, especially.
Well, in my opinion, the trick is not to come across as an angry Black woman, because I think that's what they're expecting her to.
Unfortunately, that's a good point.
They're expecting her to show that she can't control her impulses, her anger, That is what they're expecting. But they don't know that she's really not that kind of person. She had to act like that when she needed to, but I went back to look at some of the debates she had when she was trying to get nominated. And she shows that she can be very calm and focused on the point. So in terms of being able to come across clear, concise, and very down to earth, I think she has those skills, and she showed them before. So I'm expecting nothing but the best tomorrow.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think she's definitely going to be prepared for that. I mean, that's a view that I'm sure, every supporter of the Democratic Party right now, has a concern about. So I'm sure she's going to be extra prepared for that, and that, that mean streak won't come out. But I mean, we're talking about this debate. The debate I want to see is Kamala and Trump. Wouldn't that be something?
No.
He cannot handle that.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
There's nothing he hates more than being challenged by
a woman.
A strong woman, and particularly a black woman. Ooh. Yeah, I'd pay cash money to see that debate.
Intimidating people. He's used to intimidating people, especially women, into getting whatever they want. And it will be difficult for him to actually respond to her, because he wouldn't know what to do with a woman talking to him.
You know what Special said about the angry black woman thing? It's a really important point, because not because of her being angry, but it's the way that people perceive things, right? So a white man can get up in a room and yell and scream all day long. It's viewed as passion, right? And people love that. It's passion. If a black woman does, she's an angry, out of control black woman. Just like, they had the documentary on CNN about Michelle Obama. And if you remember, right now, Michelle Obama's kind of loved by most people. But if you think back to like 2007, when Barack was running, how she was portrayed as just this angry, mean woman. And so they're talking to one of their political advisors who said that, it was new to her, the way that she was being portrayed. And he said that they sat in a room together, and he had her watch some of her speeches on mute, right? And so, she's passionate, right? But the way it was coming across, that she's angry and she's mad, and so unfortunately, it's a double standard, but it's the world we live in, where you kind of have to, kind of hold some of that back, hold back some of that passion, because people are afraid of it. And same thing for a black man, but more so for a black woman. Like Barack had to be the calmest person ever, because the angry black man, angry black woman.
Since preschool, we've been taught that our leaders should be at a particular standard, should set the precedent, should set example for the persons who they're leading. And it is my hope that tomorrow in the debate, I'll be able to see that these people are trying to actually act responsibly enough to lead a country. Because last week really was unimpressive.
Shit show.
To say the least.
To say the least, right? Yeah. So I know that with her poise, with her experience, the expectation is that she will, she will bring some kind of class, and I'm hoping too for the debate tomorrow, not only to see them being leaders, but I want to hear something. I would like to hear what are they bringing to the table? How are they going to make the place better? What are their intentions? What policies are they going to, put in place? And how will these policies help the people? Because at the end of the day, we're not just in this for entertainment. Yes, it is entertaining and hoo-hoo, ha-ha, we can laugh all we want. And, but it's people's lives that we're talking about.
That's the real deal. And I think that's what that's what the country was robbed of last week. I mean, Biden was really trying to do that. And for the most part, he did. But what got all the attention was Trump just being an ass, right? So you're right. What matters is the people and the policies and how it affects real people, not the entertainment value, not who won the debate. It translates to the lives of real people. So, looking forward to it. It should be, I'm sure that we will learn more tomorrow than we learned last Tuesday night in that madness. So tomorrow night
Go on, Kamala drop couple photo and I talk.
That'd be hilarious.
Of course you know photo. You can't have a daddy with some tired and don't know photo.
Of course.
I think she can understand it. I don't want her to talk it.
But I don't know.
Yes.
The one to fit you, and that's with you, that's why we can't go on no better. Some of them think they more here.
We can't manage.
I want to buy a really and talk about doing.
I want to buy a man.
Yeah, man, no. I want to have to look for Pence and say, nobody beat me up, my youth. Nobody with it. Because you don't know me the fan. Don't beat me up. Yeah, man.
All right, so wait, don't bet your money on that. But if it happens,
hey, let's pick up some people online. There's a couple people online here.
Oh yeah.
Demetria Jacobs.
What's she talking about? Lamar High, what's up?
She was talking about the debate. She said the European Anglo-Saxon example last week was a farce. Very true. We have Keisha Leacock on, the resident Trinidadian there. Let's see.
Tell her no Trini flags tonight. We had enough of that. We almost got kicked off Facebook for that.
We have Desiree on, talking about, wait, is it Wednesday? No, Des, it is Tuesday. We didn't want to take away from the debate tomorrow, so we decided to come on tonight.
Exactly. We're not trying to kill NBC's audience.
Yeah. Hey, my sister's on. Carlene Davis. What's going on,
Carlene.
Sis? Let's see. All right, that's it for now. Let's roll.
All right. I forgot to say this at the beginning. Everybody watching this, do us a quick favor. Hit that on the right of the video. Hit that share button. Share it across your page, and invite some people to come and watch. And we have a few more things to talk about. So if you can do us that favor, we'd appreciate it. All right. So just when I thought Trump could not get any worse, he actually got worse.
How so?
I'm watching like last week. I think it was like last Thursday night, watching the news. And they said like one of his closest aides, Hope Hicks, right, had gotten coronavirus. And, they work in close proximity to each other and what have you. And so then later on that night, I still watching and they said, Trump has been tested, but they don't know yet.
That was the setup.
And they come to find out that him and his wife have it. Right? So I was like, okay, well, that's kind of major. And to the point where the next day, they said they have to be flying this man in a helicopter to the hospital. And then the same way he was walking out of the White House, he didn't look like himself. And so the more I watched, I was like, this man is, 74 years old, like clinically morbidly obese. That's the category that he's in. All the risk factors for coronavirus. And so, so now I'm thinking, man, this man could really dead, and then, it's like, that's no, but so I don't wish that on people, right? And I did a video about it. I don't want sickness, death, not even my worst enemy. I don't want sickness, death on anybody. But I thought it would wake him up at least. But, so by the next, now he went to the hospital and he had the doctors say all these drugs he's taking, and from listening to the doctors who are analysts on TV, they said just by the names of those drugs, they know that it's pretty serious, and that the fact that they're giving them all of them, some of them haven't even been approved, but under special circumstances they can take it. They say he probably has COVID pneumonia, which a lot of people die from. So whatever they give him, whatever they drug him up with, he got to the point where he could start talking shit again. Right? So, so it goes beyond that, right? And he, like on Sunday, he takes like a joyride around the hospital to wave the supporters, putting the Secret Service at risk of catching, he's still infectious. And so now I think yesterday, he checked out of the hospital. I said checked out of the hospital, but he really does move to the hospital at the White House, because the White House has a fully staffed hospital 24/7. Now, when I say how it has gotten worse is because he has gone through this, and because he had access to every possible drug there is, 24/7 healthcare, all the things that 99.999% of people do not have access to. But his attitude is, it's no big deal, just face it, don't run from it. And so that attitude, which is kind of what they're doing before, but by him actually going through it, and at that point, he is going to get a lot more people killed. So I really didn't think that they could have handled this any worse than they have to this point. But the fact that he is going, look, mind you, he's not out of the woods yet. Because online yesterday that Herman Cain was trending. Herman Cain, who had gotten it, and they showed his timeline where like a week or so he was sending messages, it's no big deal, I'll be out here in a minute. And a few weeks he was dead. So he still has that risk. But the fact that the way that he's still downplaying it, that is even going to be more powerful to his sheep. So this attitude is going to get a lot more people killed. So, let's talk about that.
I think that it had a reverse effect. I thought that initially when I heard that he contracted the virus, I thought that, maybe it would cause him to be a little bit more cautious in the way that he speaks to the people, a little bit more cautious about, the perception that he gives of this virus. We all know that it's a Chinese virus. We all know that the virus comes from China, but you are downplaying everything else to make it seem as if you are doing something that should be elevated, and you really are not. And then you by contracting the virus, it actually made the whole situation worse. Because instead of him just being silly and overlooking the seriousness of the situation, now it's extra worse, if I can say that. And to those persons who, I know in Jamaica we have die-hearted PNP, we have die-hearted JLP. And this is something that is cultivated in people, because your grandparents were, your parents were, it comes down the line. And so people are die-hearted. But what this whole scenario of what has happened now, I've been watching and I've been seeing that it is actually causing some of these die-hearted people to think negatively about the party that they've always supported. And that's not really good for him in terms of his running for presidency again.
Yeah, it's a cult. That's what it is. I mean, if you're willing to dead for a man, that's a cult. That's not a political affiliation. And these people are literally willing to die for him. Literally. Dancer, what do you say? Queen Jolene.
So I don't know. I wish I knew more about the dynamics of the presidency, the White House, Secret Service, how all that works, because I still can't figure out why, one, either there is no one or no set of people that are telling him when he's doing wrong, or there are people there that are telling him and he just refuses.
Oh, they are. It's the latter. He listens to no one.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like with the Secret Service, like you said, they have to drive in the car with him and take that chance of getting the virus. And I'm like, do these people even have a choice? If I was in the Secret Service,
nope.
I'd lose my job because you're not going to have my family.
And they have no choice. That they have their families to feed. So what
exactly.
Am I going to walk away from my job, or am I going to just do it and chance?
And even beyond the Secret Service, I mean, the Secret Service, I mean, they pledged to take a bullet for the president. So, I guess they'll take a droplet too. But but beyond that, so now the fact that he left the hospital basically because he didn't think it was a good look that the president is in the hospital. So he's going to carry that shit back to the White House. Right. So I've been hearing a lot of people talking. So think about who is in the people who clean up their room, people who feed them, the people who do all of that stuff. Right. They have no choice here. So they are now at risk. You can fumigate that place all you want. Trump walking around spitting on stuff or what have you. No, and I say that, but that's, there are literally like 14 people within White House staff and senators who have been at the White House who now have COVID. They had like one big event in the Rose Garden to introduce a new, the lady who they're trying to put on the Supreme Court. And at that one event, it's like a dozen people who are there now all have COVID. We already know he doesn't care about anybody but himself, but this just puts it to another level. You are actively shedding this virus. And you know what? I need to get out there and, play strongman for my supporters. So I'm willing, to put people's life at risk for that.
And I mean, just a quick note to piggyback on what Mika said. Like I told you guys from the beginning, as an essential worker working at hotels, since this began and with all the warnings and so many people dying and getting sick, people were still coming out and booking hotel rooms and not wearing masks and saying it's not that serious or it's a hoax or whatever. And now these same people, not necessarily Trump supporters, but these people who feel like they can't be told what to do, now they see the president coming out, taking off his mask and leaving the hospital and not quarantining and saying it's not that serious. It's going to make it even worse, just like
it is. It's going to end up killing a whole lot more people. Tex, what would it take to humble this man? Because I really thought, I really thought this would have an impact. I really did. When you stare death in the face like that, I thought it would have an impact.
About it, when you look up a narcissistic personality, nothing is going to humble him. I mean, it doesn't matter. And we've had controversial views on the show talking about him and his views and things like that. Like I honestly believe, I said I don't believe he's racist. He's just for himself. No. Again. But this just adds to my point. Okay, we have a virus that's killed over 200,000 people. Okay, let's think about the lives that has affected. Okay. There's somebody's mother, son, father, daughter. So let's say 1 million lives. Let's put him in a room with 1 million people and see, how he feels about it. Then, even then, I don't think he would back down from his views. Period. So that's not going to humble him whatsoever. He is who he is. It's ingrained in him. We know who he is. So we just need to vote accordingly. Now, unfortunately, there's people out there that are going to back him 100%. And I think they back him because they don't want to admit, I was wrong. Okay, well, now it's time. He's shown his colors. I mean, we can, I came on tonight and I said, we're going to talk about, if he had it, if he didn't. I don't even want to go there. At this
what do you
point,
think? Well, since you brought that up, what do you think? You think this was a plot?
Honestly, I don't think he has. Or he has. You
You don't think you think it was an act?
I think it was an elaborate plan, and because the timing doesn't add up. Number one,
Right.
okay, and then number two, the timing was very convenient. Okay, we have a time period where debates were going on. He basically it was a shit show. The first debate. How do you bounce back from that? How do you debate again after that?
So if you're thinking,
people feel sorry for you.
So why not
make people feel sorry for you?
Yeah,
Well,
so why not
there's
remove
one thing
myself
about
from that
media.
process?
There's one thing about media. I went to media school. So one thing I learned is that the media frames things how they want the people to see it.
Mm-hmm.
And so what you're saying could actually be accurate. However, propaganda has always been in the picture from World War One, right? And because
Fox
we're in the
ancient Roman days, but go ahead.
actually, yes, really, you're right. And because we're in the technological era now, it circulates faster. And I think that because he knows the impact that he has on people and the world at large, everything that can be done to put the attention off something negative and to shine, I don't know what kind of light it is, maybe a blue light, a green light, I don't know.
But just a different
something
light.
that he views, a different light.
Yes.
On something that he views as positive. He urges everybody around him to get involved to get that done. Like in Jamaica, when an artist come in on the scene, they don't care what kind of publicity they get.
Boss.
If it's bad,
That's
you're
one of the
boss.
boss.
If it's good, you're boss.
I show them underpants for boss.
Stop it.
Exactly. That's how
Isn't that a
view
topic?
Yeah.
Yes, because stick a pin in that. Stick a pin in that.
Yeah.
You know what?
Back to that.
We're actually gonna discuss that later on.
That's his superpower, so to speak. Is that he, as somebody that's somebody who that's been his whole thing, to control the media from, and this goes back way before he got into politics. So his wealth status has been always very important to him. He was basically gifted $400 million from his father. That's where his money comes from. But he's tries to say that's not how he came. So there's a lot that he has done, like literally calling New York Times reporters, pretending to be somebody else to talk about Donald. Like it's that important to him.
It's to get his name on the
exactly. So that and that's what and that like sometimes you hear I guess people say, what if Obama had done this, right? Or and as I tired of hearing that argument. But basically, what his strategy is, he's going to just flood the zone with so much fuckery, right? That you can't focus on any one thing. So if one of those incidents were allowed to linger for a month, then it would be the biggest story ever. But as soon as you say, I can't believe he did this, that by 5 p.m. they're going down to something else. So it's like the analogy is trying to drink out of a fire hose.
So that basically backs up the theory that, hey, we don't know if he really had it or not.
I don't put anything past him. It's certainly possible. On one hand, I think the very last thing that his campaign wants to be talking about is COVID because of how bad they have handled it. But hey, I don't know. I mean, if it changes the subject for a minute, and beyond changing the subject, if it can say, look, I survived this, and you can survive it too. You can't, So yeah, I don't put anything past them.
They would want to talk about COVID if an experimental drug he took is the reason why he came out of it, so to say. So if they're pushing that agenda, of course they want to talk about COVID. What you mean?
I don't put anything past them. I mean, they have been trying to avoid the subject because, again, you can lie all you want, but those 210,000 people know that somebody's not at their dinner table. Those 7 million people who are, they know. So you can't, no line going to change any of that.
Did you
Where's
see
that special?
the news with the guy who lost his father and his two brothers? It was the four of them that lived together, and he lost his father to COVID and his two brothers.
Was that in Japan?
I think I heard.
No.
It was in China.
China. Okay.
Inside joke, people at home.
Whenever I get that news.
Especially.
But yes. But you see, let me tell you something. You see, when Trump gets out of the hospital, I did have a couple questions to him. One of them was, did you take that disinfectant injection when you did that?
Dettol. One shot of Dettol.
Because in this a big it up, I said, boy, yo, stand up in the sun, make like ultraviolet, kill off a holy pipe. And you're nice. So I don't know if that's why when he reach back at the White House and take off the mask and say, "Sweet ya," and stand up in the sun.
Yeah. Clorox stock price gone sky high.
Hey, I agree.
Oh man.
What do you agree with? You agree with Sam? You agree with Tex?
No. Yes, Tex. I always agree with you.
No.
I'm not disagreeing. I don't put anything past him. So.
But yeah, I would have.
But we'll see.
Question.
But with all that said, the man could dead tomorrow. They have look at Herman Cain's timeline. He was up there tweeting nonsense, and then that's what.
There's never been any problems with Corona at his rallies.
Say what now?
Hold on, a whole lot of people did also say, he purposely come late to the debate because he did test everybody.
Yes, that's true.
At the debate. So he come late because he didn't want to take a test because he knew he did positive.
Oh,
right?
so that even furthers my...
He definitely had it. Because the doctors, if you watch, this... I don't trust him. I don't trust anybody who talk for it. The doctors, they will absolutely not answer the question of when did he last test negative.
Right.
Here you are as a doctor coming out to brief the public, and they ask the doctor when did he last test negative, and this man said, "Well, we don't want to talk about the past." so why are you out here? You know what I mean? So they won't answer that question, and they will not answer the question about what his chest, the scan of his chest looked like. They'll fall back on HIPAA, this and that. They'll say what Trump want them to say, the good news, but anything about, how low was his oxygen, they don't want to touch it. So anyway, my gut feeling is that he had it. That's probably still has it, but who knows? But I don't put anything past him. But we'll see. Let's say day 7 or 10 is when things can go south really fast. So
what's the name of that drug so I can buy that stock? What's the name of it?
Right?
Hydroxychloroquine.
It starts with
that one.
Remdesivir.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. So anyway, hey, I don't put anything past them, but hey, this man really needs humbling. Lord, if you're listening, humble this man. Anyway.
Yeah, man, he needs prayer. Long time.
Touch and agree.
Touch and agree. Yep. Touch and agree. No. So here, this is the 19th episode of Just Reasoning. Over that time period, we've had to talk about a lot of innocent Black people getting killed by the police. Right? George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, a bunch of it's a continuing subject that comes on here. And so this one, it's going to have a different angle to it, but it's the same nonsense from the police standpoint. It's the same foolishness. So in a town I think called Wolf, Texas. It's like an hour outside of Dallas.
Yeah,
Yeah. A black man, 31 years old, named Jonathan Price. He was at a gas station. Some sort of domestic disturbance was going on between two people inside of the store. And apparently he was trying to break it up. And, one thing led to another, and the police were called. So this is not his fight. He's breaking up a fight. Police are called. Police show up to the scene, white police. And all this is on surveillance. The surveillance hasn't been released yet, but I think it's going to be very bad. But basically, he, from the way that the family attorney has explained it, something happened for them to tase Mr. Price, and while he was tased, the reaction of his body. I mean, you get tased, you react as you react, and that resulted in him pumping X amount of shots into Jonathan Price and killed him. Tragic, and you know how. Again, as I mentioned, the video has not been released yet, but you must know how bad this is, because this happened, I think, like Friday night or something like that, very recently.
Yeah, October 3rd.
And the cop has already been arrested and charged with murder.
I'm bummed out.
So you know how bad that. I mean, it's normally months why they're going back and forth. Are they going to do it? Are they not going to do it? So it must be really bad. So that's a tragic story. The other angle to this, and that story is bad as it is. But what I want, where this goes here is because, in looking over a lot of Jonathan Price's Facebook posts, it seemed like he thought that basically this couldn't happen to him. He made posts, just talking about, for one, belittling protests that have taken place for George Floyd. Making, haha jokes with George Floyd, saying, if y'all ever see somebody on my neck, throw something at him, get him off. So, it's kind of minimizing. That's not something you really joke about. And, he's somebody who, kind of grew up with a lot of white friends. Fine, no problem. But, he was basically saying he's like he doesn't see color. And then he talks about some experience, he's had good experience with the police. I'm talking about how he's driven home drunk and this and that, and two white police pulled him over and they go. So he basically thought that if I carry myself the right way, then this cannot happen to me. And because I looked through his Facebook page, there's a lot of posts with that same tone. And so this guy, what he didn't seem to realize that he's still a black man. Not only is he a black man, he's also a trainer, right? So he's a very muscular black man. And they fear your black skin regardless of how you look. But that's people who have that racist mindset, that's what they see first. But he thought, from looking at his post, that won't happen to me because I carry myself the right way and I behave right. I say yes sir, no sir, and I know some good white people, and I know some good police, so this can't happen to me. And as much as he is belittling others who have protested, what went on the last few nights, those same people are out there protesting on his behalf, right? So it's tragic, but that's an angle, that people are going to be discussing. So that's the background of the story, and let's discuss it. Tex, what do you have to say about this unfortunate situation?
So let me start off by saying, no matter what his Facebook posts were or whatever views he had, it's unfortunate, the killing of any innocent person. You understand what I'm saying? So I want to say that first and foremost. Also, and get ready for this, people, because my view might be different from anybody else's. I believe he's a victim of his circumstances. And when I say that, I mean he's a victim of the way he was brought up. After reading the article, I was reading the article and it stated that, his second family, and he named 2 of them. Yeah. But from the context, what I gather, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, because you stated it, it seems like they were white. He talked about how they fed him, and he grew up with them and things like that. Here's the thing, though, their white privilege is not your white privilege.
It's not transferable to you, bro.
No.
Their white privilege is not your white privilege. Okay.
Yep.
So therein lies the problem. He grew up in a small town, Wally, Texas, what may have you. He grew up, around white people, and that's
star
great.
athletes.
And a trainer and a family that helped him out. They're probably great people. I don't know, but they're probably great people. But what happens there, and like I say, he's a victim of his circumstances. He's probably never seen the things that we've seen. At the same time, it don't take me getting bitten by a snake to have sympathy for somebody that had been bitten by a snake. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, even though I grew up a certain way, I can look at somebody's situation and say, that shit ain't right. And with the certain climate that's going on right now, I have to be cautious in how I carry myself. So again, the situation is unfortunate, but again, I do believe he's a victim of his circumstance, no matter how long it is.
Yep.
JoJo looking like she can't wait to say something.
Jump in there, JoJo. Say something, Queen.
It's just I once again agree with Tex. A lot of what Tex said, but
You don't be talking about nothing.
Hello.
That's what I do. That's what I do.
He be spitting them facts. No, but whether he grew up sheltered, whether he was just naive, or whether he was one of those people who fortunately didn't judge people by the color of their skin and expected people to do that in return, whether, like Tex said, he probably never encountered anything like this in person. He's probably seen it on TV, on the news. Oh my God, that's sad, that's bad, but I feel like that'll never happen to me. A lot of us, honestly feel like, it would never happen to us. We see it on TV so much, but until it's at your feet, until it's at your doorstep, you can't really relate. And so
it's sad. Yeah.
Right. It's tragic that either people can't understand it or can't be empathetic about it. But first and foremost, like Tex said, it's so sad that another person lost their life. And I don't know why, but for me, it hit a little bit harder because he was doing the right thing. He was trying to help out a domestic violence situation. And I've been that person who has tried to step in and think I was helping, and it could have went left. And I'm talking about, I've had to deal with guys who were beating on my friend, who had weapons, guns, didn't care about nobody, didn't care about police, didn't care about me as a female, taking up for her friend. So it's like you said, the video hasn't been released yet. We don't know the full 100, but at the end of the day, someone lost their life. I don't think he was a disrespectful person. I think his jokes were just in bad taste, and he didn't know how to express himself. And by him saying, he knew how to carry himself, yes sir, no sir. Yeah, well, that doesn't work for everybody.
Yeah, again, that's part of that white privilege. What happened was he was part of a situation and thought he could go explain it to the police.
Right. Yes. He thought he could be that good guy.
It don't work like that.
Which is unfortunate.
Exactly. It don't matter what the situation is, whoever is involved. A black man approaching a police no, you don't do it. Whatever they say do, you comply and pray they don't shoot you.
Unfortunately,
trying to explain nothing.
That is 100. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, I agree. That's So the family that he referenced, so he basically talked about more or less that he doesn't really see color because he was really cool with some white people growing up, and they were like his second family. And then he, talk about how, they support him more than some of his own blood family, and that's it. So yeah, so he knew some good white people. So yes, do you have that? You get into that mindset that, I probably go out a lot, and probably see them talk to cops in your kind of way, and he's with them, and it all works out. But yeah, that's not transferable to you. That a cop shows up, and it's an incident. There's a violent incident. Who knows? The cop showed up and probably thought that you were the aggressor in the situation, right? And so now they show up immediately. You are the suspect. It doesn't matter what happened before. They don't know you. They don't know your views. They haven't read your Facebook page. They haven't seen enough of that. They show up and they see a big muscular black man. Oh, he must be doing something, and it's tragic, but like I said, as much as he minimize protests and minimize profiling. You had a few people talking about, they're gonna be profiling again, ha ha ha, that sort of thing. As much as he did that, in the streets right now in that city, Black people are protesting on his behalf. They don't care about your Facebook posts. They know that this was an innocent, unarmed Black man murdered by the police for no reason. So it just like any other situation, it doesn't, So I think it's relevant to bring up that conversation. Just to bring the reason why I wanted to kind of talk about his post is not really anything about him. It's just because that is a mindset I've heard from many people. I've heard from friends of mine who think that if I just carry myself a certain way, if I just wear a nice button-up shirt, if I just say yes or no sir, then these things cannot happen to you. Understand that it is the mentality of the officer that shows up. Anything can happen. So right. Try and avoid police at all costs.
I think it is important to, it's really an unfortunate situation. I think it is important though that we educate our children and let them know what the situation is, because I think that he genuinely thought that he, like Tech said and like Chris said, they would definitely never experience that kind of situation. And the truth is, unfortunate as it is, racism has gone nowhere. Mm-hmm. We put it under the carpet for many years, or we sweep it to the side for many years, but it has really never been dealt with, which is why every few months or every few years or whatever, there's an uprising, and we are dealing with the same issue that we've constantly been dealing from prehistory. So we have to educate our kids. We have to, I watched a show one time, can't remember the name of the show. Maybe I'm camera shy or something. But
yes, I picked that up.
Young man and a young woman who, they grew up together basically, and they were trying out an intimate relationship when the police pulled them over in the car, and the young man was getting up out of the car, and the girl was saying, no, don't get up, don't leave out of the car, just stay where you are until the police comes and gives you direction. And he still got up, and when he was getting up, he came out of the car and he was taking his hairbrush from the back of his pocket. I don't know if
this sounds all bad.
Yes, he was taking the hairbrush.
It sounds like a movie I saw.
That's like all the mistakes.
And then after that was an uprising, and there was this huge racism story. And I'm saying that it's so unfortunate that people can't look beyond the shade of your skin, your hue. Seriously?
Yeah.
In the 21st century, why are we still debating and arguing on this?
Yeah, that the answer to that, that goes, way back, right? But it goes back hundreds and hundreds of years, and I don't. It's hard for me to think of. It's well, I'll say I don't know if it will never be eradicated from our world. We know that, but I think what helps is exposure to others, right? People who kind of grow up, in very sheltered circumstances. They don't know many people beyond their, your white people, and they only know a bunch of white people, and they don't. The only time they see black people is on they're watching a game or when they say, crime reports or what have you. So you have that's your perception. But the more that we have, and it has to start young. Kids aren't born racist.
Exactly.
Right? They're dealing with other kids, right? At some point they are taught that. And that's rather through their racist ass mommy and daddy. And people in their environment. So the more that we can expose people outside of their little closed view of the world, it will have an impact. It will never be gone from our world. These attitudes have become this way over hundreds of years. So expose your kids to other cultures. It's very important.
Absolutely.
Well, I was watching the news release when it just come out. Me and my son was watching it. And my son asked me, Daddy, why police shoot him? And I said to him, Sean shot the man because he's black. Not more than that. They shot him, him tears him, and him say, boy, that look like that now working black man. And I shot him. And I mean, you have rumors all over the internet that talk about, they know each other, which is another level that, who knows, he might all see, Sean might all see rude boy with one and girl. And Bex, we don't really know. Right? It's a small town, a 1,400 people live in that town. Right?
Yeah.
So it's a girl's case right there, so. Right?
Yeah.
And Road Boy a big done about the place. A college star.
He was fine.
Look on.
I like how Special just completely make up a story. Yeah, well, all right, yes.
Hey, that's the narrative. That's the narrative we might have.
But hear this now. You don't know where Sean now joined at the police department because three of them in a police department, right? And the one little thing you do, they're not even trying to hear his side, they just lock him up, so. How can I imagine them they are rolling with my youth? Just lock him up, so we not even want to hear what you have to say.
That's because they saw the video. Obviously.
The views of Special do not represent the views of Sorrow Productions. But hey,
man, girl, man, you don't know. You take a man, girl. You have your eye on a girl in that place, and you see him roll with Jonathan and stuff. I go find a way to get that brother there. What?
I do not neither deny or confirm the views.
Rest in peace.
Special
people in our city, you know him, man. You know him.
He probably does. I want to do the speculation thing, right? It's tragic. It's unfortunate. He from all I've heard, he was loved by many people. So out in the streets, a whole bunch of people marching on his behalf. Black people, white people, young people, old people. It's tragic, and we want justice for him like we want justice for everybody else. Exactly. It was unjust. So, but I hope one thing. I hope people kind of learn something from this. I know that we all have to walk carefully. None of us are immune, from this. Walk in the place our black skin precedes us. So consider that.
Racist experience that I had in China. So yeah.
How long ago was this?
Okay, so in China, most of the people, like with my skin tone, I wouldn't say most of them are racist, but most of them are.
They are, Mika. They are.
Yeah. Oh no, we really.
Let's hear your experience. Okay, go ahead.
Jamaica, China was shut off from the rest of the world for a considerable number of years, and just as how we still have the single father mentality, man for have enough gal and gal in a bungle, they still have.
Gallus.
Yeah, they
no, I don't know. I'm not familiar with that kind of attitude.
That's a Jamaican concept that men should have.
Some Jamaican. Anyway, go on.
But
Dr. Walker's watching.
Maybe they come from Rima. Maybe they come from Jungle. Who knows?
Yeah.
All right.
But over there, the racism are their unlearned ways show themselves in two ways. So you will find that the younger children, they gravitate towards you. They want to come and, oh my gosh, can I touch your skin? Can I touch your hair? These younger ones, like teenagers.
$5.
But then the older, it's because they don't know.
Especially if you charge them.
No, I don't charge them.
Okay.
But when they touch your skin, and they're like, oh, it's so firm. Like their skin is kind of different.
So you let them touch you?
Yeah, man, we let them touch like my hand here, sir. So.
Okay.
She's a teacher. What do you mean?
It's okay. So you're talking about in the classroom?
Who I work with, like.
Okay.
Not anybody out on the street. Like
not just walking on the street.
Some people have
I full up your hand with Corona.
Yeah, I was there long before that.
Okay, all right.
But the one day I went into a haberdashery and I was walking through the store, trying to pick up a few things to take home to my apartment, and this lady and I, like, she was walking from one aisle, I was walking from the other aisle, and we kind of bumped into each other, and she literally screamed out and ran out of the store.
Wow.
That is how shocked she was, because she couldn't believe that like she was on there. It's kind of like you're walking in public and you see somebody who is completely purple.
All right.
You're going to be like, what the hell? Is that alien or something? You understand?
Wow. So all right, I need some questions for context. Was this like in a small rural city, or
no.
It's not like Beijing or someplace, right?
No, it wasn't in Beijing or Hangzhou, which is also an equally well-known area in China.
Was she an older woman, younger?
She was an older woman, which goes back to what I was saying.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. Okay.
Socialization. Now that they're trying to market on the world scale, they're trying to let people learn the language, especially they're trying to let their children learn the English language. And so because the children are exposed to the English language, they have more exposure. Let me tell you something. You see, China, it is a place where they have their own, I'm not trying to stray off the topic, but they have their own Google. They have their own YouTube. They have their own IP. They don't use, and you cannot go there and use any of those things unless you have this thing called a VPN. It's an download on your phone that you can only download in other parts of the world, not over on that.
Of course, yeah.
Right?
You take them chance at China?
So it goes right back to how we educate and how we nurture our people. That's the point I'm trying to make.
When you're walking,
these younger ones coming up, they're
more open,
different.
Right.
So in this city, when you walk around, do you see many other races, or is it like 99% Chinese people? Do you see white people?
99.9%
Chinese people, right?
Chinese people. Like I was.
So that's why them run. Me not run too.
One day I saw a girl, and I literally run to hug up the girl because I was like, "You look like me." She was South African, but it's just such a. For us, it's very strange because we are used to the Western world where we're supposed to be exposed to certain things. We're supposed to know that not everybody going to be yellow, not everybody going to be brown, not everybody going to be white, right? So, like I'm saying, it really goes back to educating our people.
Yeah, education and exposure. That's
This goes back to our previous topic with Mr. Price. He was only exposed to a certain thing, and I think that certain thing ultimately led to his demise.
Ultimately,
you really think about it.
Yes, because if he had thought of himself as a black man to whom anything could happen, then he would have said, you know what, yo, me allow that to know.
I'm not breaking up any fight between two white people. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Nope. Sorry. Nope. Sorry. Sorry, Billy Bob and Mary Sue. Y'all gonna have to work that out. Dancehall. I like a music topic now. Sean Paul. Are you guys familiar with Sean Paul? Anyway.
No, who is that? Who is that?
Sean Paul, multi-platinum dancehall artist. Who he has had success, right? I mean, what his formula, he has had success. Yeah. You know, he came up in regular dancehall, and he's done all kinds of collabs or whatever. He's had success.
Stretch for this one.
Right?
So as long as you know Sean Paul has not generally been a controversial person. He's not somebody who has been an outspoken person who really talks his opinion about a lot of things. But he said some things in an interview recently which caught my attention. So he basically came out against the dancehall clash culture, right? The culture of, artist against artist, sound against sound, because essentially he believes it breeds division. He literally said it brings about a slave mentality of, pitting. Hold on, Tex. I don't think I'm going to introduce it.
Before you even go, I'm going to let the ladies and Special go first. I'll go last.
Anyway, so he talk about how he kind of grew up watching Sting with Ninja Man versus Shabba, Super Cat versus Ninja, and that culture. And though he has acknowledged that it has brought a lot of energy to dancehall and made selectors thrive and different artists thrive, he believes that it's overall a negative and fosters a crab in a barrel mentality, as he says. Pitting. They talk about the Willie Lynch syndrome, right? Where you get one group of slaves and you pit them against each other. The dark skin versus the light skin, the brown eye versus the black eye, and what have you. And so he believes that that's what dancehall clash culture is. It basically fosters negativity. So that's, I can't read some direct quotes, but that's the gist of what he said. He come out against the clash culture, and it came about. I didn't hear the original interview, but they asked him about the Beanie versus Bounty, the versus that they did, and he was talking about how it was great. It was great to see that, but then he said, but that's kind of led him to talking about the culture of clash and how he believes it's an overall negative and fosters this crab in a barrel negative mindset. So, Jojo Dancer,
yes,
do you believe that dancehall clash culture fosters and feeds negativity and a crab in a barrel slave mentality amongst our people? What say you? I miss I dirty off to go in bed.
That too. On the surface, maybe. to someone who hasn't done their homework or their research, maybe. If we rewind back to when we did Just Reasoning and we talked about verses, clashing is the reggae dancehall version of battles, rap battles. It's when your followers and supporters take it personal and get physical and harm people and kill people because
the other round rap battles are because we came first. But anyway, go on.
Well, you know what I mean, but okay.
Yeah. Remember, we start this. Remember that.
Yes. So with that being said, it's supposed to be a sport. It's supposed to be a competition. It's supposed to be who thinks they're the best against each other to see who comes out on top. It's supposed to be friendly war, if that's even a good label for it.
Of course, competition.
And for him to take it as far as to say to bring slavery into it, like serious Sean Paul, he started out in dancehall, fine. He did crossover. He found his niche. He found his thing. He made money. He's broken barriers. He's worked with all kinds of people. Cool. You're not a clash artist.
Yeah,
so
never has.
Yeah, exactly. So for you to even spin it into something negative, like, go sit down somewhere. Like, no.
Open that head.
It's good, healthy competition. It's entertaining.
But you know, as long as it stays musical.
Yes.
And you know, it doesn't always stay musical, but that's not really about the music. That's about people.
And it's not the artist's fault either. The artists are not responsible for what their followers do. They can try to influence them to do better, but come on.
You know, so like they made an analogy about, you know, sports, right? When we talk about, Lakers versus Rockets or what have you, or
Go Cowboys.
Make somebody else talk. Don't even go there.
Go Cowboys.
We're not talking about the Cowboys.
They're doing better than the Texans right now.
Yeah, one more win. That'd be nice. Anyway, Japanese. What is it?
Japan. What is it?
The other dancehall queen. Come on, dancehall queen.
What Japanese? What is it, Japanese?
First of all, let me say that everybody is entitled to his or her own opinion. And as individuals, we must appreciate that. However, I don't agree.
What?
I don't agree. My opinion is that the dancehall culture it could have been that it was fashioned after the competitions that they had during slavery, where that's exactly what happened. Yes, that's exactly what happened. The slave masters divided the slaves into.
I told you she's a teacher, history
lesson. Go on.
They did that. Actually, for those of you who didn't know, that's what they did for their own entertainment purposes.
That is
true.
And
during that time, though, it was not house slaves against field slaves. These were all field slaves, right? So it had nothing to do with battling for whatever. They only did it because they wanted the whole entertainment, and the blacks were not against each other during that time. Yeah, man, drink your water. All right. My views on the rap battle is that, like Jojo said, if you are uneducated and you have not moved up the social cultural norms, the ladder of that social cultural norms, then you're going to be still seeing it from that angle. So I can't bash him for the way he views it, but
you disagree with him.
But I do disagree with him. I think that to a great extent, for when reggae dancehall was just coming into being, I don't know a lot about how it came about, but I do know that most of the artists, they did not have any personal disputes with each other. Most of them didn't.
Yeah,
right?
just yeah.
It was just a man diss me in a tune, me go diss him back in a tune and show them people them say me better than him. And my lyrics them better than him. Right? That's what it was about. It was just about entertainment and riling the fans up, you know, to say my lyrics harder than that person's lyrics. And I think people should take responsibility for their own actions. Yes, music does have the influence on people. It can have the influence because, you know, you can jump into your car and you play a song and it changes your mood. Yes, but I think the onus is on us as individuals to be conscious of what we're doing as individuals. So I'm not going to chop up a man because Alkaline say the boy they're fool. Right? And I'm not going to sleep with the next man's girl because I'm an idiot. as if I'm
escalated.
So the point, even though the music has the power to influence, we still have to take responsibility for our own actions. Right. And no, Sean Paul, I don't agree with you.
So Dirty, you're a big dirty idiot. Is that what you're saying?
That's not
okay. Special. What you say?
Yo, sir. Yo, man, you see, I gotta agree with her about each of the artists them have their own opinion, and I can respect that. But you know, the Grammy winner look for things differently, right? Because some of the greatest songs that we've had in dancehall come from clashing, right? Some of the biggest risings you've had in terms of an artist coming up is through clashing. Clashing motivate people to sit down and write and get better at their lyrics. Come across
iron sharpens iron.
You know, good. So him just a look for a thing, say boy, a fight.
Guy bust already.
Clashes were never made to be physical, just verbal and for entertainment. So him a look upon it totally different, right? Yep. I don't know why I'm looking on it like that because he's never been in any kind of clash. So him don't know the experience, right? So for him to come out and talk like that, right?
Guy bust already.
But you see, and him probably wouldn't bust if him on Main Street never did a fight. Let's talk about that. When Dirty Cup on Main Street a fight, and that cause man like Luga man to writing hit song. Him not talk about them the kind of stuff there. Right? So a lot of good songs come from clashing. Me can always go back to when the first time I really start pay attention to Merciless. I hear Merciless defend himself and Sting, you know, against Ninja Man. And when he start talk about cooking in the kitchen, people enjoy them kind of songs because they can relate to it, right? And you know, even though you don't think say a clash, him come for clash, him find a practical and non-violent way to talk about him music. And I have no gun in it. Him a cooking in the kitchen, right? So it was disappointing in the era an artist of film caliber. I talk about clashing in that respect, knowing him never really come across no good clash. He never really entertained any good clash. I was a part of it. So I not expect him to come out so hard against it.
Yeah, it's a perspective of somebody. It seems like somebody who doesn't even know anything about dancehall. You would forget him actually come up in that culture. You know, so it's you know, like I say, you get return switch. You know, you bust and you don't need it anymore, so you can look up against it. You know.
No, Chris, I think that's an unfair thing to say. I'm going to play the devil's advocate for saying that. No, because you, all right, all of us grew up in Jamaica, right? You grew up in Ireland. Don't mock me.
Why text?
Somebody there with you?
Go on, Japanese. Go on.
You grew up in
me and Japanese are clash now. Go on.
Maybe you grew up in a bougie environment. Me grew up
He played water polo, Mika. He played water polo. What do you expect?
Who you talking about? Oh, you talking about?
Paul.
Oh, yeah. Sean Paul Enriquez. Uptown Youth,
Yes.
Let's say Chris grew up in that bougie environment, what we would call bougie.
I did not.
Right?
Oh, you bougie.
And in the opposite way, I would have a great appreciation for dancehall because maybe my parents gonna play it in the house, right? So that's one, I've been exposed to it. Two, maybe I see some people who did a struggle and a suffer come out of the ghetto because of dancehall music and their artistry. And I think it is really an art that you develop based on your circumstances. Because if you notice, some of our best artists, both at home and abroad, have made their best music when they're encountering a difficult situation.
Sure.
Jack, you're making the best song them when him there prison.
And you make none good after that.
So what I'm trying to say is the struggle. It is the struggle that other artists who engage in the clash competitions went through that Sean Paul didn't go through. You understand? Which is why maybe he's looking at it from a different perspective. So we can't bash him because that's not reality.
We can't bash him because
I'm not bashing him. I'm not bashing him. I'm not bashing him. I think that is because he doesn't need that anymore. Right? No, he was never a clash artist. But when you reach a certain level there, then you can look at, that's not what I would do. That's preach negativity without looking at the positivity that can come from it.
You make it seem as though he's looking on the clash culture, and I don't think that's what's happening. I can read the quotes. It's definitely looking down on it. Read the quote.
When he talk about
talk text, and I'll pull out the quotes and I'll read them.
The receipt.
Can I talk to the people? Can I talk to the people?
I know you say you want to go live.
Load it up.
I agree with
conversation.
Yes, I definitely agree with everything everyone said on the panel.
Except
I usually speak on the side of caution because of music relationships and things like that. But tonight, I'm not. Sean Paul, full idiot. All right? I'm gonna tell you why. This is no different from sports today or anything or any team that we root for. Okay. It basically started in 105 BC with the gladiator games. Basically, this is a distraction, okay, from the people at Powers that they put in place so people could take a time out from their daily lives. Okay, so this is where all this come from. So if you think about sports, you think about basketball, football, soccer, or what may have you, everybody has a team. Okay, you have a team, you cheer for that team. It doesn't matter what somebody says from that opposing team. You're for that team and you're gonna back that team. Now, can you control what happens with the actual players? And when I say players, I mean dancehall artists or fans. And when I say fans, I mean people that back that dancehall artist. Okay? You can't control all of it. All of this is for entertainment purposes only. So all that other bullshit, that's on you. That's about the individual themselves. All of this is clear, concise distraction. It's entertainment. Nothing more, nothing less. What comes from that, hey, that's on you, period. So Sean Paul is nothing more than, let's bring a comparison, Drake, okay? Drake ain't never, Sean Paul is the dancehall Drake. He ain't never been in no drama. He's not a thug. He's never been in any real battle.
You never grow up poor. Never grow up
okay.
poor.
Yeah, you grew up in the suburbs, you don't know any different. So, this is foreign to you. Like you say, he's never, like Chris says, and especially say, he's never been in any clash or any dancehall battle or anything like that. He is a mainstream artist. So for you to have that view, you're very misguided. This didn't start now. It didn't start in dancehall culture. It started way back when in the gladiator days. It's prevalent now with sports. teams and things like that. You know, as a Texans fans, you can't tell me anything about any other team. You know, I mean, we go back and forth with the Dallas Cowboys weekly. Okay, you know,
one win.
Yeah. I mean, we're on 4, but you still can't tell me nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
y'all 1-3. What you talking about? Anyway.
Hey, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? So we can only control what we can control. So for him to take this thing, he's definitely, like y'all said, he's made his money. Okay, this can't hurt his career. So he's saying what he can say to stay relevant. Because what has Sean Paul done in 5 years? I mean, we don't know.
He's done a lot, just not on the dancehall scene.
No, him do a couple remix. Him do one with Spice and.
What's the does remix give you street cred? I mean,
no, but you know,
Sean making music. He's making music, just not really making music for us.
Music too, but Drake is appealing to the thugs and the real people out there.
So I mean, here's a quote.
Done a lot for the dancehall culture, for the dancehall space. Let me say space and choose my words wisely. I think that the ability for younger dancehall artists to cross over. I mean, he kind of was one of the artists to pave the way for that to happen. I mean, there were did it before him, like Shabba and
Mad
Cabra
before,
but they ain't one show.
But I think that in terms of the new era, he was also one of the, you know.
Okay, so, whoa. So you said pave the way. Name some other dancehall artists after.
Name some other dancehall artists.
Yeah, that he paved the way for. To
cross over. We'll leave for them. Massacre, Shensia, all of them who making music.
Really, you think they crossed over?
Well, they're appealing to international audiences, particularly in America. So yes,
I would agree with Japanese. So I mean, he has been a crossover success. Who come after him? That's a different conversation.
No.
He has had crossover success.
What was stated was he paved the way for other dancehall artists to cross over.
I mean,
y'all are naming artists that are popular in the dancehall community. Period.
I name anybody.
Crossover appeal is a whole nother subject. I'm saying name the artists that have crossed over after Sean Paul.
That's a different conversation, though.
I mean,
that's a different conversation.
How is it a different conversation if he pays the way for different dancehall artists?
Because he opened the door. Who coming after them? That's a different. That's on other forces.
Him just want your name one, and Coffee come after him, and Coffee are going wicked. So me can't call for your name.
But what is what you probably consider crossover is completely on the other side, and maybe these new artists are not of that caliber to completely cross over on the other side, but the way is there for them to interact with these American artists, interact with other artists, build music with them too. So when I say pave the way, I mean the doors are open, the gatekeepers have lowered their guards.
Popcorn has had commercial success, crossover success. Not saying that he's a crossover artist,
name a crossover artist that's on the radio.
That is a different conversation. We can talk about it. It is. We can look at the different elements. And now it is. We can look at the elements of.
I can name plenty of Sean Paul tunes that have crossed over that have been on the radio. What I'm asking you is to name those crossover artists' songs that have been on the radio.
And like I said, that is a different conversation. There's a lot of different elements that goes into what makes it on the radio. We can talk
elements. I'm talking about song that you can listen to the radio right now and they are listening.
Radio stations are
no matter which
I see it as a different conversation. I do.
Listen.
Okay, well, just because you see it as a different conversation doesn't mean it's fact.
His comments. You were going to read Sean Paul's comments, Chris.
I hear Coffee. I hear Chichi. I hear Shensia. I hear all of them music play over here.
Yeah.
So
And I don't listen to radio, but yeah,
in Arizona.
To me, that's a larger conversation about the state of dancehall in general, where dancehall had a lot of success up until like 2003, 2004 from a crossover standpoint. Sean Paul, Baby Boy, Beyonce, and then something happened in so that's in exploring those reasons. I don't think that has anything to do with whether or not Sean Paul helped to pave the way. I think he did his role, and he's still doing it. In the Latin circles, in all sorts of different circles, not just the hip hop circle. He's done all sorts of stuff. So
answer my question. Answer my question.
And you're asking a question which I don't think is relevant to that.
How you gonna say it's not relevant when
it's not? So
we can talk about what you want to talk about and not
no. The statement that she made was that Sean Paul helped to pave the way. That's what she said. I agree with that.
I asked the question: what crossover artist has benefited from Sean Paul? That's what I asked.
Shit, I said
you
popcorn.
You're talking about it's not relevant. What do you?
I said popcorn. I said popcorn.
You turn on your radio and right now I hear popcorn.
It's relevant because at the end of the day, hold on.
That's irrelevant.
Doug, at the end of the day,
it's irrelevant.
Don't say what I say is irrelevant.
It's irrelevant to this conversation.
Of course.
Listen, at the end of the day, basically, what it boils down to on both sides, both opinions, Sean Paul is not a clash DJ for him to say what he said about something he's not directly involved in, comparing it to crabs in a barrel, comparing it to slavery or whatever.
Divide and
he's
rule.
entitled to his own opinion as a person, but he should have just kept his mouth shut on that.
The movie Django reminds me of our clash culture. Two youths fight, and then a guy gives one the hammer and says, "Finish him." That reminds me of clash. I don't like that. If we perpetuate it year after year to those kids, they're going to come up and do the same thing. Since slavery, we have been put up against ourselves, and we shouldn't do that. So, yeah,
that simile
culture.
Is wrong, because the two fight where him talk about, the two slaves that when him talk about a fight in a jungle, them never have no option. When you go a clash, you do have a option.
I didn't see the movie.
You don't have to go. Right, a Django him talk. You never see Django?
You
really never see Django, man?
I don't watch movies. I'm not a movie person.
I've seen Black Panther.
I watch news and sports.
Me I carry the Django DVD come give you morning.
DVD. So what I must play that on?
All right. Me can't carry the video file come give you morning same way. Me can't shoot it here.
I understand why the dancehall fraternity would be upset, or dancehall patrons would be upset about what was said. But in truth and in fact, it is merely an opinion.
Right, of course, but you see, what
it's an opinion. But that's the reason why these conversations exist. Opinion, when there's a difference in opinion, you're going to have argument and excitement. That's why it goes. So yeah, I mean, it's his opinion. I can
honestly tell you, none of the artists them will ever participate in our clash. Would ever say that, because them not only enjoy the clash, it helped them. It helped them. Them get a strength. Them get a strength.
Right. So
iron sharpens iron. You bring your best game to the table, and whoever wins wins. And at the end of the day, it's entertainment. Period. Now, what happens after the fact, that's on whoever is, participating in those activities. But it's entertainment. Period.
So you see when Sting used to go on? Yeah. Sting used to go on. If you win the challenge of Sting, you're a hot DJ for at least another 6 months. Right?
Yes.
And you're a Sting champion until the next Sting.
Now you mentioned Sting.
So loaded.
He said. So here's what he said specifically about Sting.
Right.
He said, every year in Jamaica we grew up with Sting. the basis of the entire show was to clash each other and do the most hardcore performance. This is slavery mentality to me, and I just don't want to do that.
For me,
oh yeah,
nobody wants to do it.
We know it's opinion. We know these aren't facts. It is opinion. We just have to. Most of us think it's a foolish opinion.
Shabba get $1.5 million to clash the Ninjas thing.
But
right?
with that said, he does.
Big food.
He does acknowledge that
US.
No, $J my.
He does acknowledge that he realizes that it is beneficial to different sounds, different artists. So so him should have left it this one. Right? You don't need it, but there are people who do, and it does benefit others' careers. Just say it's not my lane. It never has been.
Which is what he says to me. I'm not trying to defend him, but let us be fair.
Yeah, defend the man.
The man I talk about people.
Japanese, yeah, defend him.
Yeah.
Talk about somebody else's reality, because I don't know.
I don't, and I can tell you something from my personal experience. My first introduction to Tommy Lee was on a clash stage. I've never known nothing about Tommy Lee. And after him come out,
Tommy Lee, no use.
Right?
You like Tommy Lee?
Artist, of course.
Yes.
I'm an artist.
Seriously, though?
That's not music to me.
Man. Come
It's
on.
not relevant.
So we could have said that is a stupid opinion.
That's fine. That's fine. I don't care.
It's not relevant.
I don't care. I don't care about people disagree with my opinions. That's
We
good.
know that, though.
Yeah.
And I mean, some artists where them probably themselves never know, so them have clash talent. Like Carl Kiprich.
Yeah.
Whole heap of people that never consider Kiprich as a clash artist. But
I
when
didn't
he
either.
damaged Ninja Man, when he damaged Ninja Man that year there.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody has said, oh yeah.
I didn't know Kipper was a kind of artist.
Right, so Fishan, I said, boy, you know, him not see nothing. Him a talk about all negatives him see. I mean, I know him not mention one positive yet. And everybody else we're engaged in a clash can tell you the positives of it.
So, anybody agree with Sean? Nobody?
No. Not here.
All right. Okay. Everybody should take Sean a fool. All right, cool.
I don't.
Japanese, just sure. You know that I'll never call you Nika.
Be nice to our new friend.
Your name Japanese from now on. Megan takes a chance to talk about Bill O'Brien, his favorite coach. The Texans made a big move this week. Tex, the floor is yours. Talk about Bill O. And then we'll do our last
Didn't you say that should have happened anyway? Tex, didn't you say that you should have fired him?
Look, last Friday, and you can ask the people, I got receipts, okay? I said, if the Texans go 0-4, Bill O'Brien is gone. Despite popular opinion, I was
That's not relevant.
Exactly correct. Exactly. I was exactly correct. Nobody backed me up. Nobody said anything. I got pure opposition. And what happened on Monday? Bill O'Brien, 0-4 coach of the Texans, is fired. Okay. Now, here's the thing. The Texans, the expectations.
Why did you think 0-4 would do it? Because the Texans are a very reactive organization.
Yeah,
they put up with foolishness a long time.
Of course, but at this point, where your GM head coach makes these decisions that impact your team wholeheartedly, like releasing or letting go,
D-Hop.
Hop.
No, yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like trading Hopkins,
one of the best wide receivers,
which is right now probably the number one wide receiver in the league. You have to kind of look like, okay, this dude made this decision. Okay, he's gone.
Yeah.
Our defense is shit. We have arguably the third or fourth best quarterback in the league, and we've lost 4 games in a row, something is wrong.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
When you lose the locker room and the teammates, which is what I've read was reported, then it's time for the ownership to make a decision and say, you know what, we need to go in another direction. Now, we all made jokes beforehand and said, oh, the GM needs to fire the coach or what may have you. And me as a person, I hate to see anybody lose their job. But he lost 2 jobs in one day.
He's still getting his money. He'll be all right.
Yeah. He's still getting paid because he was on a contract.
Yes.
But come on now, he lost 2 jobs in one day. Come on, man. You got to feel some kind of sympathy there. But at the same time, the team has been mediocre since during his tenure. Okay, it's been mediocre. And with a quarterback like Deshaun Watson, okay, and the coaching staff that they have in place, we should have at least won 1 game. Okay, that's why I stated if it's 0-4, he's gone, and so be it. That's what it is.
Yeah, when it comes down to it, I do think it wasn't just the 0-4. It was the fact the Hopkins thing just never, and that's going to be an albatross, like when you talk about all the curse of the Bambino with the Red Sox, and Babe Ruth, it took them 100 years before they won a World Series. It's one of those things that made no sense at the time, still makes no sense. Now let's say after all that, as vexed as everybody was, if we come out and we go 3-1, I'm saying okay, he had a plan. But no, you see, you traded, the top receiver in the league, one of the
got nothing for him,
and got nothing for him, and then you're 0-4. You know what I mean? I am shocked that I thought the Texans would have to go, because the Texans have been always kind of slow to react. They're not like the Cowboys. The Cowboys, Jerry Jones is like, boom, fire somebody, gone, right? The Texans, they tolerate nonsense for a long time. So I didn't see a movement going on.
We have a new McNair at the helm.
Yeah, well, I don't know anything about how his. I'm shocked at 0-4 firing. But hey, I think this season is what's your best expectation for the season? You think it's a wash?
8-8. Get a high draft pick and call it a day.
As long as we bet on the Cowboys, I'm good with that.
Exactly.
Special way, sir.
Well, I mean, me know say them as a boy, Janice did have other things she did do the first 3 games them. She never really did a praise the boy, they would be a fool. No, named Janice.
Who named Janice?
Who named Janice?
You don't know who named Janice?
No, what's you talking about?
Who named Janice? But anyway. Right?
Who named Janice?
What is that? Deshaun's girlfriend or something?
No, man. You don't know who is Janice McNair? Who's Janice McNair?
Look it up for me.
Kyle's wife?
Exactly.
Okay. Whose wife?
They say him run things,
Okay.
They say him run things.
That's what I just said.
Yeah,
whose
that's what
wife?
I'm saying. Janice McNair. You don't know who that is?
That's his wife? No, man, I don't.
But anyway.
Yeah, you pull up a story.
She, I guess, she don't tell rude boys to be patient. According to what some of the media houses say. But after the 4, them say, nah, man, it's a brother that can't manage it. He can't manage it. So you have to cut him loose. And that happened. But he probably shouldn't listen. He should have listened to her before, because according to her, made her read, right? Some of them did say, boy, she did have talks with him from the 2-0. It never happened though. But then they don't.
Yeah,
he did have some success.
But
that's what I'm saying.
The roles and responsibilities.
But she said after 4 that not gonna happen. That can't occur.
But GM, as a GM, your job is to recruit new players and make blockbuster deals, get premium players at a low cost and things like that. That has never transpired. Then you go to the coach level. You're both. You're doing both. You're GM and coach. Go to the coach. Yeah. We look at the plays as people that watch football. And we're like, what is going on? I mean, y'all look like a JV team and varsity is playing. What is going on? Okay. Then this year you say, okay, you know what? I'm going to hire a offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator. Well, hell, we can't score no points. And every defense, every offense, our defense
can't score. I can't stop anybody.
40. Okay,
I'll do it.
They can't stop the run. Then you say, hold up, okay, we 0-3, and this is why I said that. We're 0-3. You said, I'm gonna take over the
play calling,
offensive call playing.
Yeah.
And we're gonna make a difference.
Yeah. Yeah. So at that point, you're wearing all the hats. You know.
That's the answer. That's why. So, because you've done all this, then you're taking over yourself.
The problem is you.
So what I don't know. So my thing though is will Romeo be able to do any much better though? Big and serious.
Till out till 2021.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying. No expectations this year. Let's go 8-8,
okay.
Whatever. Get some draft picks.
Get the wild card.
Hire a new coach.
Yeah.
Hire a new coach next year, and then let's set some expectations then.
Eric Bieniemy. Q dog.
Hey.
Kansas
City.
Anyway.
We want Billy, man. Tell them to half a bill of money and tell Bill to come down. Man.
Oh, Belichick?
No must.
Oh, come on.
We need a guy like that. We need a guy like that for y'all box Watson when he make a quick pick.
You can't box the quarterback.
Without box Watson. No.
Yeah, you can't box the quarterback.
That's not proper coaching, especially.
I feel
Japanese, you watch football?
I'm
American
not
football
on the whole football thing, but sometimes I read the articles like when they pop up on Yahoo or Google, you know. And, I just feel like whenever these coaches or whatever they're called get the positions that they do, sometimes it's not really because of their qualification, but because of their ties. Or in Jamaica, we say links, right?
Of course,
And sometimes as the persons who are watching the matches, we can tell, say, boy, him not gonna do a good job, you know. So I don't even know who would have choose him, you know, like that. But it's just political. Eventually the truth will reveal itself.
Yes.
Yeah, basically that was that coach was Steve McNair's choice, RIP. And the person that's in control now is Cal. So
say that again?
He's gonna.
What you say about Steve Bob?
Did I say Steve McNair?
Yeah. I was like, Steve.
Yeah. RIP Steve. Well, both of them.
Okay,
RIP both of them. But Bob. That was Bob's choice. So Cal is in the driver's seat right now, so he'll make decisions going forward. And I think they would be better decisions because, again, you have to think about the I should say, genre that Bob, is a part of, like what the Joneses and things like that. So their approach to football is definitely different from what a younger person would think. So I think Cal will bring a different approach, and I hope he'll just bring something different to Houston and the Texans because, we're a winning city, and bottom line, that's all we want to see. As long as we're winning, it all boils down to revenue. The revenue will come.
Yep. Anyway, Jolene talk out the 2 hours now, so
2 hours we got.
Gonna chat so much, man. All right. Final thoughts. So Japanese, this is what we do. We'll have some final thoughts, or everybody just say like 1 or 2 sentences of something that they want to. I thought they wanted to leave with the people out there in Viewerland. So since you are our first-time guest, all the way from Japan, leave us with some final thoughts.
So okay, for final thoughts, I would say, as adults, let us educate our children. Let us try to see if we can change the narrative. People have been trying, but probably we need to be more strategic. Let us start with our kids and work our way up to the adults. So perhaps in a few years, maybe 10, 15, 20, 150, who knows? In a few years, we'll be able to change the narrative.
Thank you, Japanese.
Agreed.
Jojo. Queen.
Once again, wear your mask, don't drink bleach, and vote.
Oh, that's deep.
Hey, you said I talk too much.
She said
The fact that we really have to seriously say that to people, though.
Yes.
You know? Dubai, what you say?
Well, you don't know it go. I tell people, Texans will head up high. A new page will flip over now, so we can see changes and have more aspiration for the team. You know. Tune in to the debate tomorrow. I think it's going to be interesting. It's going to be important. And for all those undecided, you might be able to make a decision tomorrow. And people, just consider other people when you're out in the road. You know, wear your mask because it's important to protect yourself and protect other people. You can't watch Orange Head. You know, really have no sense. Right? And for the family, you know, Jonathan, go on all the faith, you know? I mean, we're still up on the struggle. And, yep. You know, we are see a slight change, you know, and I God, that's a slight little change, a slight little pinch, but you know, reach there yet. But it's a slight pinch. But hey, him still not really lock up yet, you know, because we know here we are going grand jury and so nothing. So we don't really know if Ruba get punished yet. So we just have to go on all the fear.
You know, I did hear that police there. Its bond was $1 million and impose it. Where police get so much money from?
In their road.
Up there. Anyway, Texas.
Yo, I just want to reiterate what everybody said, especially. I mean, he took basically the words out of my mouth. Number one, vote. I mean, whatever you decide to do, whatever decision you make a conscious decision, go vote. Debates are tomorrow. We didn't want to take away from that, so we decided to go live tonight.
Yes.
So tune in tomorrow, make an informed decision there. Like Special said, wear your mask. It's not for you, it's for everybody else. It's just consideration. Just, hey, protect yourself, you're protecting somebody else, period. Okay? And that's about it for me.
Thank you, everyone. The shirt that Tex has on, votes, that is the word of the day. And I would just like to, you know, we've talked about how important that is. It's important to do. And we participated in an initiative, you know, this past weekend over at Cool Runnings, the parking lot, in coordination with the Houston Caribbean Professionals Association, My Soul Rebel, and HCPA, where we just basically, you know, string up sound, play some music in front of Cool Runnings. People came by, and we registered, you know, dozens of new voters. And, you know, it's something that it's you know, I participated in a similar event earlier in the week where we registered about 80 something voters. So over the course of that, you know, we've been instrumental in registering over 100 new voters. And when you think about that, that is very significant, right? So if one person showed up and voted, that would be a big deal, right? But
exactly.
The fact that that one person now can take an action to go and vote for who represents them in their local governments, you know, the judges that, you know, that are, you know, looking at cases and what have you. And then in doing that, they may get others within their family to vote in future elections. So we made a difference this week, right? So it was, it's very important. It's something that we're going to keep doing going forward. The events that we call it was Vote and Vibes, right? And that's what we're going to do it and make it bigger and bigger, just like Rock the Vote, is, from back in the 80s up until now. We're going to do that and make it bigger and bigger. And the idea being to make people realize how it all connects with them, right? You don't necessarily have to care about what they do at the federal government and what have you, but if you can make them realize how it connects to their lives and what they do each and every day, we can make an impact in our communities, which will then impact our city and impact our world, right? So, so big up yourself, everybody who's participating in that effort, and vote. Remember to vote, vote, vote. Early voting starts next week, October 13th.
Yeah.
A week from
Tuesday.
today. I'll be there on day one. So thank you everyone for this long ass edition of Just Reasoning. I think it was a combination of Japanese and JoJo. Yeah, that took us over the top.
Whatever.
So thank you for tuning in, everyone who's still with us on this past people's bedtime. JustReasoning.com is where you'll find this and other episodes that we've done. Check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/MySoulRebel, or the Just Reasoning group. So this is the purpose of this show, is to amplify the voice of the Caribbean community, the Black community, and talk about issues of relevance to us. So once again, thank you for tuning in. Until next time, bless upon yourself. One love. Peace.
Hey, China, stay